Welcome to the channel. Today I'm reviewing my Lyman Turbo Pro 1200 Tumbler. I've had this thing for ages, and you can see this is meant to be orange. By now it's kind of like a sickly yellow. Overall it's a very good tumbler, and I will show you why. Now you can see that this is a machine which I've had for a long time and which I treasure, because look, it's still got that little blue hat on that is meant to prevent this rod from poking out through the packaging. This is in every picture. Everybody I've ever seen still has this thing on their thing. So if you buy this thing, the picture will show with the blue thing on. This is like the pizza box sort of little tripod thing that's in the middle. You know, that's what this is for. But, you know, I've kept mine as well. I'm not strong enough socially to say, no, I don't need that. This is only for people, you know. I keep thinking there's a deeper meaning of it, but I don't think there is. But, you know, I still have it. You know, I'm not willing to commit yet. Now, the reason this is very good, because we have one set of screws at the top, and if we take that off, we can get to the lid. And then there's a second set of screws, and we can take that off. It's going very well, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. So we'll come to the top, and we can take the basket off. Do we call this a basket? I think it's a basket. The donut, we could call it the donut. The point is we can take this off, and all your cases are in here, and you're just going to pour this through a sieve, and you have your cases back, and life is great. And that is wonderful, because you don't have to pick up this whole machine as well, which is clunky and a pain. Now, we can see in there, this basically has a little fan. The fan keeps the motor cool, and then, you know, there's an off-balanced weight on there, which kind of like gives it that vibrating thing. And because this is quite small, it actually vibrates at a fair speed. It actually does a good job of cleaning cases very quickly. So kind of like if you have like messy cases, you know, hurry, you can throw them in an hour, they'll be done. They'll be good enough. And I had the larger model than this, which kind of has a black basket. And I can't fight the sneaking suspicion that it had a very similar motor in it, because that was already much slower. So this, I think, realistically, you can only really put 50 rifle cases in here. I mean, you can, maybe with 223 you can put 100 in. I think it'll struggle. Pistol cases, again, maybe 100. Maybe more, you can push it. But realistically, I like using this for short ones. So, you know, when you have like 50 cases, you're in a hurry, you want to load, you throw them in, and, you know, off you go. Now, these things create dust like mad. And if you want to watch one of our earlier videos, I think number 16, we review a Dylan product, a very large tumbler, and the thing, oh god, we don't use it, we still have it, it's kicking around back there, but we've actually switched to a wet tumbler. But this is still useful enough, because it is small and quick, that I have this one still about. It's also, if you put a limited number of cases in, you can actually just go diving in there and fish them out, so you don't have to pour it out, and in that case you don't get that dirt and that horrible stuff, you know, which is what I really detest about these dry tumblers. Now, my operation for these is really simple. I basically put the brass in, and I put one of these Scott shop towels in. Anything bigger or stronger than, you know, a wheelie. I mean, I would think that even, you know, like a general tissue would work, you know. Something that would fall apart, or is designed to fall apart like toilet paper, I would not put in this, because I have a feeling it would disintegrate. You have to have something sturdier, but that'll soak up all the dust and make this a whole lot more usable. The other thing that I do is I tend to put in a little bit of Turbo Bright. Now, I shouldn't have to do this, because I've got Tough Nut in here, Lyman Tough Nut, together with, I think half of it is walnut? I think it's walnut. I set this up 10 years ago, you know, I've not changed it. And the trouble that I have with it is, because it sits in the corner, it just dries out. And once it reaches a certain level of dryness, it doesn't want to polish anymore. And you have to get that tiny bit of moisture in. And then suddenly, you know, it just gets stuff done really quickly. And I don't know why that is, but I might actually start putting a few drops of water. I don't know, maybe that's what it does. But between those two, I could get something polished, you know, good enough in half an hour, and really quite well in about 1 hour. Now, those are the things that I like. There are some things that I dislike. And the first you can see right here is that this thing has a bit of a wave going. We have the crest of a wave here, and we have the trough over there. And you can turn this machine around, and the wave always points the same direction. So it's not like my workbench is crooked. I think it's something the motor does to try and induce rotation. But it basically means that it likes to run over. If you're running this without the lid, it just kind of spills over. If or you have so little material in there that it limits the amount of stuff you can polish. And I think that's a little bit of a pain. I think the other thing they could have done, they could have really put a little bit more rim on this. But to some extent, you can buy other Lyman machines which have a very similar setup. I used to have one. And that thing, unfortunately, it just didn't have the speed of this one. I think this one has the speed because it's a small amount. So I don't know, maybe it's a trade-off. But I don't like the wave, yeah, because it always wants to tip over at one place. And, you know, it spills those little polishing kernels everywhere. And I find that a bit of a pain. Now, the second thing that I dislike, and you know, there are moments in life where you scratch your head and you wonder what on earth were they thinking. And with this machine, I have one of those moments because what were they thinking? Look, 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 look. This is meant to be open. This has a vent on it, so that all the crap that you scratch off the cases, you can blow those into the air of your shed and they can settle around. There used to be a little circle of crap around this thing. Oh, why? Why do that? So, you know, I put a little cover on and great. You know, that's it. This is a bit of alu tape, I think. And it just stops all that dust from coming out. And these things pick up the dust, but it's still, without this, it still blows it out. And you can see this. I mean, look at the state of the stuff that's stuck in there. Would you want to breathe that in? I don't. So, I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't. And it lets this whole thing down, to my mind, yeah, because you have to cover it up and immediately looks, you know, what is that? You know, it's a shame, but you know, there you are. Other than that, it's a good machine. I'm very happy with it, and if you can find one of these secondhand, I don't think that would necessarily be a problem. I don't think you'd get less quality service out of this as a secondhand product than you would as a new one. So I hope this was interesting, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Piper guy, can he ride the Turbo Pro 1200 tumbler, yes or no?